Hi there, Diana. So you've got another set of essays. Wow, you're working really hard, so great job. Let's see what you did here. Sales of automobiles. Yes, 5 different car brands. Let's see what you said. The bar chart depicts the number of 5 different car models sold in the U.S. over a 6-year, that word is missing, period starting in 2013. Overall, it is clear that Daewoo was the most popular car make during the whole period. It is. Let's see. Yep, that's true. Well, Ford was the least, not famous. That's careful with that. The least popular car. Or you could have said the least sold car. Because think about it like this. I mean, Ferrari is a very popular type of car, meaning that it's both famous and people love it and it's very popular, but it's probably not very popular in terms of sales. So you need to make a distinction here. And rather than saying that it was the least famous or even the least popular, it was the least sold car. Okay? Except for the last year. All right, fine. Sales of the brand Daewoo accounted by far. No, that's inaccurate. Let's fix that. Sales of the brand Daewoo accounted for the largest group, or how about let's make it really easy. Sales of the brand Daewoo, just accounted for the largest group every year within a range from 85 to 125 car sales, with its maximum, or not even maximum, the best word here is peak, because maximum implies that it can't go any higher, but in fact it could. I mean, sky's the limit, really. Okay? So with its peak in 2016. In contrast, the least number of sold automobiles consisted of Ford, starting at 50, rising to 60 in 2015, after dropping to its lowest point, again for the exact same reason. There is no minimum, just 0 would be the minimum. So you want to say something else instead. At just under 40 the next year. Only in the last year, Ford sales figure, no, you need to change the grammar here. Only in the last year was Ford's sales figure greater than Toyota's, with 55 and 50 car sales respectively. Okay, fine. VW and Audi sales figures stayed relatively high, between 65 and 85 sales for the entire period. As for Toyota, the number of cars sold was quite large, at an average of 80 from 2013 to 2015, after its number halved to 40 cars in 2016. What happened with Toyota? Let me see if I can wrap my head around this. Give me just a second. Toyota, and then, wait, where is Toyota? Ah, here it is. Okay, Toyota, and then, whoop, it dropped. Okay, all right, I understand. Fine. As for Toyota, the number of cars sold was quite large, at an average of 80 cars from 2013 to 2014, after which its number halved to 40 cars in 2016, and then stayed below 60 vehicles at the end of the period. Yeah, you're missing that which here. After which refers back to 2015. That would have been perfect. So this is lovely. I liked it. It was clear. It was well organized. I like that you dealt with it like this, the highest and the lowest, and then you talked about a little bit about Toyota, and then you talked more in detail about the other 3 car brands even more. So it was a good job. I liked it. Good organization, clear, just a couple little minor errors, but nothing too serious. So on the whole, this is a good essay, a good task 1. Careful with the use of the word maximum and minimum. All right. Remember that task 1 is really small, it's really short, and there are some very specific vocabulary words that we have to use there. Wait, no, let me try that again. There are some very specific vocabulary words that we need to use, okay? It's rather formulaic, so it's really important that you use them accurately and correctly. So just be careful. And I mentioned this thing about maximum and minimum so that you're clear about how to use them appropriately and what a good alternative is. So let's move on to your task 2. Okay, and here it is. Let's see. Environmental issues have always been an international problem because governments are not imposing harsh punishments against offenders. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Let's see what you said. So what are they essentially asking you here? It's if the problem with the environment is because the governments are not imposing harsher punishments. Okay, fine. In today's modern world, it cannot be disputed that our planet is suffering a pressing problem due to the human activities such as illegal dumping of garbage which pollutes our air and oceans. I believe governments play an important role in protecting our environment, yet I think it is impossible for them to tackle this worldwide problem alone with harsh incentives. Great. Okay, yeah, clear. So you're basically saying that you disagree. So yeah, it's a problem, but harsh incentives are not going to do the job. Clear, nice, I like it. On the one hand, it would be easy to say that every government should pass the same laws for their country. However, due to the fact that each region each region has different lifestyle circumstances, this approach seems to be considerably unrealistic. For example, a third world country such as Kenya needs to concentrate on survival rather than nature because many people lack access to food and may even die for that reason, whereas a first world country throws away tons of food and puts its focus on environmental issues. Therefore, it fails to be attainable to have the same laws worldwide against people harming our environment. Lovely. If I had one little complaint about this, it would be the fact that we don't really use this expression anymore. It's not considered, how can I say this, really appropriate to call countries first world or third world. Usually we call them developed or developing, in this case here with the third world, okay? So that's the only thing I would say there. Other than that, it's lovely. Now, I can see you decided to go with 5 paragraphs. Not really sure why. You probably know by now that we recommend typically a 4-paragraph structure, but rather than tell you, no, that's wrong, let's see what you actually said about this. Furthermore, it is undoubtedly, how about this? Furthermore, undoubtedly, the number of people who illegally pollute our planet stays undiscovered, and to tackle each one seems impossible. You know what my problem with this is? You use the same vocabulary here. Impossible to tackle. I think that you probably could have found different alternative vocabulary here, okay? And to... What else could you have said? Stays undiscovered, and to overcome each problem seems rather challenging. So just some other different vocabulary words here. This is largely because of the lack of transparency in a wide world like ours. For instance, Australia and America could easily hide inconvenient content from each other, such as discovering a company which, not who, they're not people, which is dumping waste in our marine ecosystem. A better approach to this conflict may be to change people's mindset regarding environmentally friendly usage and rewarding those. For instance, if a business shows they are following the law for at least a year, they could earn an award which will make them stand out. Careful. 2 words here, stand out, from counterparts, okay? We'll talk about this in a minute. To conclude, I strongly disagree that our politicians can solve international environmental problems only with harsh punishments, as it seems impossible to discover every single offender. All right, it's lovely. It's written very nicely. It flows in a very nice way, so your writing is fluid. It is easy to understand. There's no area of incoherence at all. If I had a concern, it would be, again, with this paragraphing, as well as this paragraph here. It's like a mini paragraph. It's only 2 sentences, which for me is a little bit of a problem. They never really, you know what you did here? You kind of made this sound like a problems and solution essay. It isn't. Okay, it isn't a problem and solution essay. So there are a couple of things that you could have done here. The way you developed this paragraph is fine, okay? What you could have done is you could have developed a paragraph about why some people might think that this is in fact a good idea. So you would have had your introduction, and then you could have had a paragraph saying, there are numerous reasons why such a measure could potentially be effective. And then you could talk about it. Harsh punishments against offenders. So yeah, these companies that, you know, create waste in our oceans, or I don't know. I mean, you could just go on and on about how, yeah, you know, if you punish people where it hurts, that is in their pockets, then people would be much more cognizant and much more careful about creating pollution. So you could have focused a paragraph about that, and then you could have gone on to this paragraph. Now, that would have been a more appropriate structure for this essay. So what you're basically doing is you're saying, yeah, I understand why people might think this is a good idea. However, in fact, it's really unrealistic. Okay? So that would have been a nice way to develop this. Alternatively, you could have done what you did, but keep this paragraph and then just keep find another main reason to support this, okay? If you ask me, honestly, I like the first suggestion better, but you could have then talked about another reason about why this is just a terrible idea, all right? And that maybe, you know, harsh punishments, whether they're financial or jail time, whatever, it's not going to stop people because, say, for example, you're a big business, you know, great, it's going to make a little dent in your profit, but in the end, it's really not going to be enough to make you stop polluting. So there were other things you could have said here to develop this paragraph, but again, I wasn't really super happy with these two paragraphs. This one because it was underdeveloped, and this one because it's not a problem and solution essay. They haven't asked you to find alternatives for this, okay? So I wouldn't have developed it like this. However, like I said, I enjoyed reading it. You had a lot of good elements. Just remember to answer your question based on how the question is asked. Okay? Nice job. Do we have more essays from you, Diana? I'm not really sure. I know that you went ahead and moved forward and sent us extra essays, but I want to see more work from you. I thought you said your exam was coming up in the next week or so. Do send us more essays so that we can really overcome any problems that we're having with task achievement. I think that that's what we have to work on, because your writing itself is lovely. Okay, so let's see what you can write for us before your exam. I'm looking forward to it. So keep us posted on what you decide to do.